Hello, this is Aynsley Salzman. I am the local Pearson rep for Miami. Today I am going to give you a brief overview of MyHistoryLab. I'm so glad you joined me because I know how engaging history courses can be, especially inside of the classroom. And MyHistoryLab is really geared to make that outside of the classroom experience just as great as that inside of the classroom experience. And we've also got some great assessment tied to MyHistoryLab that you can actually assess your students' learning throughout the course and really measure those student learning outcomes at the end of the course as well. So I wanted to start here by showing you the course homepage. This is the first thing that your students will see when they launch into the course. They'll see any announcements that you have made for them. They'll also see their e-text. Now the e-text is actually a hallmark feature of MyHistoryLab because not only can you read the e-text, but students can actually listen to the e-text. It is ADA compatible, so if you have any students with disabilities, they have that option to listen to the e-text as well. And I'm actually going to launch the e-text so you can see what I'm talking about when I say it's a hallmark feature of the lab. I'm going to pull up Chapter 1 here, and you'll notice right here on Chapter 1, you've got your instructor's e-text handy. So in the classroom, you can go ahead and pull up the e-text so that you can show any PowerPoints that you want to go over. Everything is in here for every single chapter. All of your instructor resources that you need for that chapter are right here. So you've got your PowerPoints, you've got your instructor manual, and you've also got all of the media assignments within that chapter as well. So you can play a video in class, and you don't have to go anywhere else but the lab, and you can launch that right in the e-text. And throughout the e-text, we have a lot of embedded media, so the student will see various icons as they're going through the e-text and reading it. They can also scroll from each page. They can take notes. They can highlight within the e-text, so if there's something that they want to remember later, they can highlight, they can take a note, and they can print out their notes as well before a test. So there's a lot of really neat features within the e-text that I'd be happy to show you in person, but I just wanted to show you that it's not just like a paper text. There's actually so much more that it gives you that opportunity to really engage with the material, especially for students who are so driven by technology nowadays. They're so easily distracted. So the e-text keeps them engaged as they're moving through the material. I'm going to go back to the course navigation bar here on the left side, and I'm going to walk you through a couple of the key assets of MyHistoryLab. So now that we've gone through the e-text, I'm going to let you know about our assignment calendar. Now the assignment calendar is where all of the assignments that you've created or assigned will show up for your student. So the student will see right away what it is that they have to complete for that day, that month. There are actually some icons right over here that will show up right on the calendar, and then all of their activities and assignments will be over here as well that they can launch right into. So within MyHistoryLab, I mentioned that it is assessment driven. So that means that the student actually has a personalized study plan, which is actually tied to the content. So every single chapter has a pre-test, it has a post-test, it has activities that they can complete, and the lab is great in the sense that it's customizable. So as an instructor, you have that opportunity to really decide what it is that you want your students to get from the lab. So you can have them read the e-text before they come to class. You can have them take the Chapter 1 exam. So you can use this in a low stakes and a high stakes setting. And then also you'll see here the student will notice whether or not they've completed an assignment, if they've gotten started, if they need to begin an assignment. It's all right here within their study plans and course content. And moving down the navigation bar, you're also going to see My History Library. So My History Library actually has more than 200 of the most commonly assigned primary source documents. And the primary source documents are something that you can actually listen to as well, or the student can listen to those things. And I'm going to enter right now so you can see. So it has the ability for them to be able to highlight right in their e-text. They can actually access those primary source documents and think critically about them and answer questions. Then we've also got our video series, And the video series is something new that we've added to My History Lab. It's actually where students will learn about key topics within the lab and also learn about key topics within history. So I'm going to pull up my history video series, which actually has HD state-of-the-art videos where you've got historians talking about key events within history. It's very crisp, it's very clear, and it really does give them that really cutting-edge view.
About why people left Europe and settled in the New World in the 16th and 17th centuries. Certainly a lot of it was economic, but in a lot of ways there were also political.
So we've got this for every chapter. There's also an overview in here as well. So before the student watches the video, it gives them a critical thinking question. What should they consider before watching? What are they going to learn throughout the video? So it really gives them like a preface before they're watching that video. And then you can actually assign questions too with the video series too to make sure that your students are really understanding the material that they're reading. So going back to the navigation bar, I also wanted to point out the closer looks. The closer looks, they're tours that actually take the students through maps, images, and key sources within history, helping students to uncover the meaning and understand their context. So I'm going to pull up the closer look tour. It's actually here by chapter, so you can choose anything within the chapter. And I already selected one already for the Missouri Compromise. So it's going to have the introduction, then it's going to take them through
How
the
did the
map.
land of liberty come to this? 3 words: land, cotton, and technology. Slavery experienced a brief respite as a
So they can click next. And
industrial development. How did land, cotton, and technology, combined with racism, contribute to the sectional crisis of 1820?
So then there's also a critical thinking question that's tied to that closer look as well. We've also got some assessment through writing. We know that history instructors like to assign writing, and we know that writing can be very time-consuming to grade. So we've given you a couple different options and different ways that you can assign writing in the course. We have a new feature called Writing Space. And like I said, it really helps your students master concepts and develop those critical thinking skills through writing. So we've got our writing practice. Our writing practice are various prompts that we have created here for you that you can choose from that offer students immediate feedback. So we've actually tested, we've trained the system where we've taken hundreds of essays and we've trained them to decide what is a 5 worth, what is a 4, 3, 2, 1. It grades them on organization, voice, focus, and all of that is taken into account. So the student will click on the prompt, they'll complete the prompt, and then it's auto-graded so it goes right to your grade book and you don't have to do a thing. So you can give them that extra writing practice, you can actually have them return it for a rewrite, and then it goes straight to your grade book so that way they're getting that extra practice without you having to have that administrative hassle of having to grade hundreds of essays. Now we also have writing assignments through the lab, and these are also a wide range of topics that are appropriate for your specific coursework. It gives students the ability to really to help craft their responses, and it's graded by you as the instructor, so you have the ability to grade these assignments, so a little bit more hands-on. And then we have the instructor created prompts where you can create your own assignments, your own writing assignments to cater specifically to your course. So everything within my History Lab is customizable to meet the needs of your course and your course objectives. And then we've also got your student resources here. Now the student resources are very vast. We have students that have various needs. So we've got tutorials in here. We've got class prep for your students. We've got flashcards as well so they can do speed drills and test themselves on material before they take a quiz or a test. And then we've also have a new application, it's called Explorer, which actually probes a lot of different questions where they can interact through different maps and data sets to really test their quantitative literacy skills. So I'm going to launch here to show you Social Explorer, or our Explorer, and it's set up by chapter. So you can choose within each chapter how you want them to work through that material. So I'm going to click over here to show you how the student's going to work through these various slides. And it has all of the maps, and they can click on the maps, and it's actually very interactive, and it helps, like I said, to really test their quantitative literacy skills. So that's within the student resources as well. Then you've got your student grades, where all of their grades will actually flow to their gradebook as well, so they can keep track of how they're doing on assignments. You've got your communication tools. That's what I showed you before. As far as assignments or announcements, you can actually do that right through here. And then you can post discussions as well. You can do email through here. So it gives you a lot of different communication options. Then we have our instructor grades and assignments. Now the instructor grades and assignments, this is where you're actually going to see your gradebook, all the different views of your gradebook. You're going to be able to manage your course materials, set preferences for your course and your course settings on assignments and different study plans. And then you can also assign content through here as well. And the great thing about assigning content in the lab, it's really easy to do, and you can actually assign it right to the calendar. So that calendar that I showed you in the beginning of this tour, that's what the students see. That's right after you've made an assignment. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to drag and drop. That's all it is. If you want them to review the chapter, you just drag it right to the calendar, and then it will show up right on their calendar view. So I'm going to do that right here. So we'll set it for the 13th. So now that assignment is showing up on their calendar for the 13th. So it's really easy. And then I also wanted to point out your instructor resources before we conclude our tour today. This is something that you can access right within the lab, so you don't have to go anywhere else to access your Pearson instructor resources. Once again, you've got your Explorer in here, you've got your test bank, your PowerPoint, your class prep, your instructor manual, My Test. You can create your own tests. You've got your e-text in here that you can launch right through your instructor resources, so you don't have to go anywhere but the lab to really utilize this course to meet the needs of your course objectives, to help customize anything that you could possibly think of. This lab will really give you that flexibility to do. So I wanted to thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to coming to your class to show you how my writing or my history lab will really impact your students and really give them that outside of the classroom experience that they've been craving, because inside of the classroom we know how engaging it can be. We also want to make sure their outside of the classroom experience is just as great, and My History Lab will be able to do that for you. So thanks for joining. I look forward to meeting with you soon.